Now back in our Lagos studio, it's time for Trending Now, and Olamide Odekunle is standing looking all beautiful to tell us what's happening in the world of social media.
Coming from the most beautiful herself, I'll take it.
Good morning.
Team, shall we see what everyone is talking about this morning?
That's right. We do.
Let's have a look.
Take it away.
Good morning, Nigeria. I like to say that TVC has a finger on the pulse and an eye on the streets. And here on the Trending Now segment, we do our best to bring you all the trending stories that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today in Lagos, where bulldozers rolled into the trade fair complex yesterday in Ojo as the state government moved against illegal and unsafe structures. The aim was to restore order and enforce physical planning laws. And officials say that the demolition targets buildings without approvals, defective structures, and those built on setbacks and drainage channels. Simply put, structures that block roads and flood paths and put lives at risk. The operation was carried out by a coalition of state agencies and backed by security operatives. But on the ground, traders and shop owners watched anxiously as marked buildings came down, worried about the ripple effect on their livelihoods and their homes. Now, the Sanwo-Olu administration insists that these tough measures are necessary in a city already battling congestion, flooding, and disorder. But still, as with past demolitions, a lot of people are arguing that residents often pay the steepest price for these demolitions. They lose their homes and their shops with little notice. Let's take a look at what you had to say on social media. Chris Bamidele says, "This is commendable. Please bring everything down. If you must live and do business in Lagos, learn how to follow set rules and regulations." Yeside Akpabio says, "Who approved the building in the first place? Why wait till it gets to this stage?" And Youth in Process has this to say: "Demolition wastes resources on both sides, the citizen who invested to build and the government that deploys tractors, workers, and taxpayer funds to tear it down. A better approach is prevention, strengthen policies and public awareness so such structures never arise. That way, citizens save their money, government saves resources, and the nation gains." Now, the Sanwo-Olu administration has come out to say that, you know, a lot of these buildings are sitting on drainage systems. They're increasing flood, they're increasing congestions, and they don't have the proper approvals. But how do we enforce order without taking away the livelihoods of the people that inhabit and work in and from these buildings?
I agree completely with the last tweet you read. You know, the best way is prevention. In other words, let us be more proactive from the time the application is sent to build. The proper steps should be taken. It shouldn't allow a situation where the structure has been built, and for that particular market, you know, it's a very strategic market in Lagos. For that kind of market to be losing structures right now because it's built on drainage system, who gave the approvals in the first place? You know, so it puts a lot of people in a very bad situation. A lot of the traders are going to lose their livelihood as it is right now because the person that would have done his or her job at the beginning didn't do so.
But, you know, I'm going to take a very hard tone on this one. We keep saying who gave the approval, who gave the approval. And sometimes we forget how we individuals are very stubborn. You know, they tell you you cannot do something and you go ahead and do it. I'm sorry to the people that have lost their properties. But again, we keep complaining on flooding. The whole Lekki was flooded when the rain fell. And these houses are built on drainage. Olamide, then they should take them down. I'm sorry for the people that will lose properties. But at the end of the day, people are losing businesses from this flood as well. And sometimes when they even give this approval, when they tell you that don't do this here, you see people say, oh, we'll do it, we'll do it. So sometimes it's not even all about the government. This government will tell you that you cannot do this thing here, but you go ahead and do it. Once again, I'm sorry for the businesses, but the right thing must be done. And Lagos State, I commend you.
Absolutely.
Oftentimes we trend on the sentiment without looking at, you know, the logic and, you know, rationale behind the actions that we take sometimes. Most times we blame the government for trying to set things right. Imagine if there is a building collapse, we'll all say, hey, what was government looking at? Why didn't government act before this incident? Now the government has acted. We'll say, why is the government destroying business and properties and all of that? Know that. So we ask, just as Ria also rightly pointed out, we'll be asking the questions, who gave this approval for the erection of these buildings? So if for you that are also doing business in these buildings, always do your due diligence, not because you want to make ends meet and all of that, and then you now get into the place, but know that there will be an exit. Always prepare for an exit point, so that when this calamity befalls you, or is going to fall on anyone, you know how to, you know, quickly make that exit. But then it's okay. Lagos is expanding.
need to stop the pity party. Honestly speaking, we need to deal with problems from the grassroots.
Absolutely. So, you know, the question now remains that if we are going to demolish, must we now establish them somewhere else? If we are going to displace them, should we replace them? Did you see the poem I just wrote? Thank you so much, team. Now, in Adamawa State, controversy is mounting over the foreign trip of the wives of all 21 local government chairmen. Reports allege that the women, along with senior officials of the Ministry of Local Government, were flown to Istanbul, Turkey, for what has now been described as a leadership training. Now, the trip, which allegedly had no budgetary approval, was said to have been financed with local government funds through the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON. ALGON State Chairman Suleiman Gankuba defended the program, saying that the wives of chairmen required such training to support their husbands in governance. But of course, this move has triggered a lot of public anger. Workers' unions in the state are now demanding that anti-graft agencies step in, describing the trip as an insult to local government staff and pensioners who continue to grapple with unpaid salaries and poor welfare. And this development is coming just 2 months after the chairmen themselves reportedly traveled abroad for a similar training. They don't call them first ladies for nothing. I don't know if local government chairman wives are called first ladies, but clearly they have a title. Let's take a look at social media. I'll take 2 tweets. They're so happy to be in that airport. KB says, this is reckless spending of taxpayers' money, and I hope that the people of Adamawa do the needful in their next elections to oust the criminals out of office. And Mr. Prolific said, going to Turkey so you can learn how to manage the grassroots government instead of going house to house, visiting the local healthcare, the school, and having an open dialogue with the local people to see how you can help. Going to Turkey that doesn't practice the same system of government, you would rather talk and take some pictures so it can be like they are working, instead of being in the field and actually working to help the welfare of the grassroots people. Team, I'm going to take it to you now. We discussed this during the newspaper review, but I didn't get the perspective of the men, Etoma and Ibrahim. Was this really necessary? Couldn't they have sat down in Adamawa and, like that user rightly said, done some grassroots help and really connected with their community? The amount of taxpayers' money that went into that, oof.
Looking at it side by side, the fact that salaries had not been paid, Adamawa State is not one of those states that you can call a rich state and so on. It's quite insensitive. If truly taxpayers' monies were used to finance that trip, the husbands went. And if Madame doesn't go, the husband will not have a good night's rest. Things like that. But on a very serious note, it's so insensitive. If you really want to train those women, you could bring the resource persons to Nigeria. It's by far cheaper than taking all the women to Turkey.
Olamide, if your house is burning, you cannot decorate the roof once your house is burning. These houses are burning because people are not being paid salaries. We've seen pensioners come out and cry that they've not received their pensions, and this is happening. Now we're saying these women have to be flown there. What about online training? Why couldn't they do it online?
Absolutely.
Why did they have to go? The cost of flying them there. And what hurts me the most is that there are people that are owed salaries for months, some even years, and you see this happening. This is reckless spending. Like I said during the newspaper review, I pray that they really look into this. The people of Adamawa need to know. Next time when you're voting, you know what to do. But then again, they need to look into this very well. Accountability needs to fall in, because you cannot owe people and be spending money recklessly like this.
It's so sad when we are advocating local government autonomy. The president also dragged the governors to Supreme Court and then won against them by saying that local government should get their monies directly. And the governors have been saying, listen, they used to have this money and then they are not, utilizing it very well. They're owing salaries, owing workers, etc. And now the power should have returned to you. The allocation should have been directly given to you. But look at what you're doing. You're making it you're giving the governors more grounds to say, we are not going to remit these monies into your probably joint account or your own direct account. So that is the problem we have. How can you take all of your wives out of Nigeria, and then you took them to Turkey to do what? To learn how to train you or how to teach you how to do your job. Make it make sense.
Absolutely, team. This is very interesting. Who would have thought that it would be so lucrative to be the wife of a local government chairman? Etoma, what do you think, if anybody, should be held accountable? Who and how?
Algon should be held accountable.
Yeah.
The chairman that came out to defend it is the first culprit. He is the first person.
It's actually indefensible.
EFCC should invite him immediately and tell us how he got where they got the money for this. Because just think of the ticket of one person.
And I don't know if they went on business class as well. We do not know. So.
Yes, think of the ticket price of one person. And they're going to be there for several days, feeding, internal transport within that area, and some pocket change to do some shopping and so on. That, whatever monies is spent, is huge. You know, what pains me is that you're spending this kind of money and even local government staff are not paid. And
Olamide, on the lighter note, you say, what will we call them? Maybe they are cheerleaders.
First class cheerleaders.
Imagine if they are spending this recklessly, you know, on their wives. How about their girlfriends? Because some of them always have a girlfriend on the other side. No, that's the reality. So how about, you know, all this kind of reckless spending? So the EFCC should swing into action, do proper investigation, so much so that we are able to establish why we are recklessly spending, you know, our natural resources.
Indeed. The optics of this are terrible, and they don't speak to the empathy towards the people and the plight of people of Adamawa State. But let's move on. In entertainment music, it is not every day that Fuji music and global tennis royalty share the same conversation. But that's what happened when Burna Boy sat down with Roger Federer at the GOAT Talk series by Complex magazine. Now, in this chat between these two great men, Burna Boy revealed that Fuji is his favorite genre of music, and he wasted no time naming Saheed Osupa as one of his all-time greats. Take a look at this video.
What about you? You have...
My GOAT singers are mostly like Fuji artists. Like Saheed Osupa. Amazing. GOAT on sneaker.
Now, for Osupa, the shout-out was more than just name recognition. It was validation and proof that Fuji sound still carries global weight in today's music conversation. The Fuji icon now quickly responded on X with gratitude, thanking Burna Boy for the powerful acknowledgement. Now, while Burna maintained, on the other hand, that Fela Kuti remained a towering influence, he clarified that, on the other hand, none of Fela's records directly shaped his artistry. I love the fact that they're doing this, you know, two great men from different continents sitting down. Greatness is greatness everywhere. Let's take a look at social media. And Fola says, Egbon, no fall for the accolades, though. He will soon start to sample your songs. If he must sample, let him pay. I don't know if I got that right. Let's take one more tweet. Techie Political says, sir, your song, I Remember When I Was Nobody, is one of the deepest, most philosophical songs I've ever heard. And every time, it's top of my playlist. You deserve every accolade you get. The depth of your inspiration is unparalleled. Kushesa. Team, you know, Afrobeats, I constantly say this, is a very tangible and viable global export. But with Afrobeats that we have today would be nothing without the great Saheed Osupa and many other Fuji musicians who laid the beats of this sound that Afrobeats is now, you know, sending to the world.
Yes, not just Saheed Osupa. You ask anybody, they will mention several names, but the truth still stands. That is the root where Afrobeat and the rest grew from. And for somebody like Burna Boy on that stage mentioning your name, Saheed Osupa, my brother, you're going to make a whole lot of money. And thanks for acknowledging the fact that he mentioned your name in a positive light. Congratulations to you. Of
course, Saheed Osupa is a great artist. If I got in Osupa right, did I get it right? Yes. Okay, he's a fantastic artist. But one thing I like is the fact that Burna Boy is mentioning him. I love when Burna Boy now praises Africans, because most times we see that he's always, you know, talking about the West and all of that. But I love the fact that he's bringing it back home. So, and I'm also happy that he got to say that Saheed Osupa got to tell him that thank you for that. So that was a great one from Burna Boy. Yeah,
and as Olamide rightly put it, it's an endorsement for him. Well, he doesn't really need that endorsement because he's also a very prominent musician. You know, for Burna Boy to have also recognized him. Yeah. I'm not a Fuji, you know, lover, I would say, but the thing is, each time I pass through some places where they play, you know, Saheed Osupa, I recognize his voice. I recognize the fact that he's very deep. He's not just singing for the sake of singing. It makes sense. When it comes, you know, he's more like someone who speaks like, you know, uses adage and all of that. It's just like Nice. When Nice also sings, you know, you'll see that he has insight, intellect displayed, you know, in their, you know, lyrics and all of that. So I guess that's what actually stands him out. He's a very cerebral person. Yeah. Well done.
Thank you so much for your input, team.
Yeah.
Moving on, still in the world of social media, a storm is brewing online around social media influencer Amarachi Amusi, better known as Ashmusy. The controversy is that her newly launched online class, the Social Media Money Blueprint, claims that she can help people make as much as 100 million naira from influencing, and the price tag is 36,000 naira, 750 per person. Take a look at this advertisement.
There was a time I was posting adverts every day. And for those ads, I was not paid less than 1 million naira for any of it. I'll tell you something. Or maybe...
Now, instead of excitement, this her cause has sparked outrage. Many Nigerians are accusing Ashmusy of exploiting her audience during tough economic times, insisting that real digital expertise should be proven in the open marketplace and not behind a paywall. Other people are arguing that if she truly made fortunes from influencing, she would not need to charge fans to learn her blueprint. This backlash raises bigger questions about online coaching industry. Is what she's doing, do you think, genuine knowledge sharing? Or is it just another hustle riding on celebrity status? Let's take a look at social media. Most Gentle says, the first 100 million she will ever make will be from those that register for the class. And King says, that's how one said he made 50 million daily and was asking me for my own hard-earned 20K for seminar to learn how to make 50 million. Bro, you're a millionaire already. Why can't you do it for free? If all of us are rich together, it'll be a bad thing. Team, let's weigh in on this very quickly.
Yes,
if you ask me, it is her expertise. She's allowed to monetize it. She has learned a lot from influencing, and it's her call.
She's learned a lot from it, and she wants to share the knowledge. My question is like the question every other person is asking. If you've made so much money, what's wrong with giving back? Must you charge?
Why would she not give back? It's not free. Why would she give back? It's her. It's her intellectual intelligence. So I don't have a problem with it. And, you know, I don't know her personally, but she has built a brand. And, you know, from social media, from advertising, we have to give it to her. And if she's saying that I want to teach you, 36,000 naira is not a lot of money. So if you don't want to pay, just let it go. But she's not going to teach you for free. She's running the business as well.
She can even charge as high as 1 million naira, as long as you think you want to afford, I mean, you can afford it, and then you want to learn or tap from our resource, you know, our knowledge. So I do not know, whatever it is. If you like, subscribe. If you like, don't subscribe. Why the force?
Absolutely. I think it's a lot of entitlement. If you're a smart person, you watch how she posts, her patterns of social media, and take what you can from that if you don't have the money to pay. Well, let's move on.